This is the World Organic News for the week ending 19th of November 2018. John Moore reporting. Decarbonise the air and recarbonise the soil. A quick reminder that I'm still on the move and will be for another couple of weeks until we get to where we're going. So I'm at yet another sister-in-law's house, and so the recording space isn't exactly how I'd like it. I'm outdoors, so if there's any background noise, I do apologise, and know that your subconscious mind will filter it out fairly quickly. So we begin this week with a reminder that all societies, however different from our own, rely upon nature for our food. The post from Ancient Foods is entitled, Oldest Evidence of Dairying in the East Asian Steppe. Quote, although dairy pastoralism once made Mongolian steppe herders successful enough to conquer most of Asia and Europe, the origins of this way of life on the East Asian steppe are still unclear. Now an international team of researchers led by the Max Planck Institute for the Science of Human History has uncovered evidence that dairying arrived in Mongolia as early as 1300 BC, through a process of cultural transmission rather than population replacement or migration, end quote. So it would appear that the forebears of the Mongols who conquered much of Eurasia, except that, at the time, uncivilised rump of Western Europe, were milk drinkers. That they were able to sustain an empire based upon pastoral dairying is something agricultural societies still have trouble understanding. The point I'm trying to make isn't so much that a good dairy beast will sustain an empire, but even the mobile, seemingly, from an agricultural point of view, rootless people still required a way to feed themselves that differed from the fisher-hunter-gatherer ecological model. The fisher-hunter-gatherer ecological model was not always as sustainable as the Enlightenment noble savage mythology would suggest, but they do appear to have been successful in some cultures. The Kung of the Kalahari and indigenous cultures of Australia spring to mind, along with many pre-1492 societies in the Western Hemisphere. Where am I headed? Surely we can't all return to a fisher-hunter-gatherer ecological model. Too many humans on the planet for that. Too many humans relative to the resources ends in an Easter Island event, so no, I'm not advocating we all become fisher-hunter-gatherers. What I am suggesting, and have been for quite some time, is a reassessment of the underlying assumptions of the agricultural model. I've mentioned that no dig flies in the face of 10,000 years of agricultural theory. I've also pointed out it works and is great for sequestering carbon. I think it's time to look to find ways to blend the fisher-hunter-gatherer ecological model with selected proven agricultural cultivars and animal species to create a new paradigm in food production. Imagine designing a food production system that, like the fisher-gatherer-hunter ecological model, relies upon perennial plants with opportunistic exploitation of annuals. Animal products, meat, dairy, fibre, furs and manures can also be thoughtfully added to the plant matrix in a way that enhances both the plants and the animals. I think we've lost touch with the notion that animals and plants evolved to coexist and thereby rely upon each other. This is evidenced by the fact that we rarely see mixed farms these days. Wheat, corn, beef, sheep, etc. are the definitions usually given. Now I know of a wheat farmer who will run sheep over his stubble and so on, but the full integration of plants and animals is only done in ways where animals are held in nothing short of prisons. Doing this to stock does as much damage to us as the poor beasts locked into these confined animal feeding operations. And the harvest we are reaping is manure lakes that leak into waterways, thousands of pigs drowned on hurricane-caused floods, and food that is bland and tasteless. A truly integrated farming system would honour the sheepness of sheep, the cowness of cows, and the pastureness of pastures. Clearly some land is better suited to arable and some to grazing, but surely somewhere there is a way of doing things that is better than what we have now. A new blog, Let's Regenerate, has a post on the land of regenerative almond farming. Quote, when you hear the words almond farming, it's quite likely you'll think of the water-draining Californian almond production. But the place where I'm now, here in the Spanish Altiplano, is actually the world's largest rain-fed organic almond-producing territory, meaning natural growing conditions without much external input and definitely no wasting of drinking water supplies. End quote. Seems a fairly good idea, a perennial crop that actually improves the land it's growing on. And then we have from the post, forests are effing important, from the blog Love Always. Quote, "As many of you are aware, one of the biggest threats of our time is the fact that the temperature of the planet is continuing to climb. An excess of greenhouse gases in our atmosphere, threatening every aspect of life, an impeding strife affecting our cities and our economies, the survival of our species and all others too, causing humans from all over the world to question what on earth we should do. I think we need to tune into the fact that trees are our allies in combating this harsh reality. In actuality, they literally inhale all the greenhouse gases, causing our planet to warm, and transform it into oxygen that we breathe to keep alive. An invisible current that allows us to thrive, to strive, to live our best lives." End quote. Yes, that was in verse, but I don't care. We need more poets, more of the kick the traces, this isn't acceptable anymore types. And we need to do it ourselves. Do what needs to be done. The 3 permaculture ethics would be a good starting point. Earth care, people care, fair share. Other systems work from similar starting points. Fukuoka's natural farming works on the do as little as possible and let nature do what it does theory of things. Even soil-turning John Seymour pointed to the high farming of the late 1700s as a system that builds soil and hence soil carbon. With all this in mind, Mrs. World Organic News and I are embarking upon a journey from early December to put these ideas into a physical form. I know others are doing this, the almond farmer quoted above for instance, but we will be doing it in a way that I will be discussing the thought processes that led us to each decision we make on the property. I hope to inspire others both already on the path and those who are yet to start. So hang on tight. We aim to hasten slowly, as does nature, but there will be times when moving quickly will be necessary. Evolution, as I understand it, will be the subject of an upcoming episode. Don't panic, it won't be dry, but it will point out some common misunderstandings in the application of the theory and how a deeper understanding will inform and allow us to make better decisions for ourselves, the land we have custody of, and, this is the big leap, the entire biosphere. So stay subscribed. I will be discussing the wonderful work of others as well as, hopefully, our own enlightened decisions. And on that somewhat dramatic note, I'll draw this episode to a conclusion. Remember, decarbonise the air, recarbonise the soil. Now, as a podcast listener, you may be thinking of producing your own podcast, but you're not sure where to begin. Drop over to mrjohnmoore.com and pick up the free checklists I've written to help get you started. You can also check out the YouTube channel Pod Thoughts for more helpful info. Link in the show notes, details at the website mrjohnmoore.com. And the transcript of this episode is available at worldorganicnews.com. Thank you for listening. I'll be back next week.